Hey guys, Patty from Patty's Crafty Spot, and I am here to share with you a new tutorial. So I was asked if I could make a tutorial on this little book here. I actually made this literally almost 4 years ago to the day when I posted it on YouTube. It was posted back July 15th, 2015, and this is to hold little Instax photos. And let me grab one to show you real quick. I should have done that before, but I totally forgot to grab one. So let's get one out. So this little book here is made to hold the little Instax photos. So they fit right in the book, just like that. And you can just go ahead and tape them down, whichever. So I will link you down below to the original video, but basically it opens up like this. So it opens up like this, and then you can just go ahead and put your little photos in. They fit perfectly in there. And then you have this page here, which is nothing. Open it up more, and then this one here lifts up like this. And then nothing special on this. And what's this one? The 4th page goes up, and then over here, nothing on the 5th page. And then on the 6th page, it's got this little part here that opens up. So I was asked by Donna, so you all can thank Donna for the new tutorial, to go ahead and make a tutorial on how to make this book, because she said that this one was what she was looking for. So seeing how I made this in 2015, 4 years ago, I've definitely learned a lot since then. And for example, this book here, as you can see, it doesn't lay flat, nor can I get it to go flat. So I did do some improvements to it, and I hope you like it. So let me walk you through the new one. So the new one right here is this one right here, and I use by Prima romance novel. This is a 6x6 paper pad. That's what I use to decorate this one here. So basically it's the same. The spine width is the same, although on the cover I did increase the cover by 1/4 of an inch for the binding system that I used in this. So let's see. So it is roughly 3 3¾ by 4½ tall with a 2-inch spine. And let me go ahead and walk you through this one. So what's a little different is, first of all, it almost lays completely flat. You don't have this anymore. It's like this one, you can't get it to go flat. This one is flat. Check that out. So that's cool. So that's something new. I added a pocket right here to the front. So the pages are basically set up the same. So on the first page, opens like this, and then flips, and then again, the second page flips up. The 4th page, there's nothing added extra. The 5th page flips up again, just like that. And the 5th page, nothing extra. And then the 6th page opens up. So basically it's set up the same way, just like that, and then again a pocket on the back. But I also went ahead and did you one better. So in between all of these, because the way I made this, you'll see in the tutorial how I kind of explained how I put those pages together, but I did these pages differently. So you also now have a section with a little pocket. So if I open this up like this and this, there's a pocket now. So you can actually go ahead and add even more photos, because now they just go right in the pocket. just like that. So now there is six of these in all the pockets. So they just pull out. I didn't add any paper to them yet or anything. I don't think, yeah, it still would. There's enough room. I didn't have a lot of the paper and I didn't want to keep using all the same, but I mean, for this one right here, this is 4 more photos times 6. There's 24 more photos now you can fit in this album that you couldn't fit in the original one because there was no pockets. And look at that. Super flat. Stays flat. Look at that. Is that not awesome or what? I was so excited when I put this book together and I realized that you could do this flat. So I used the Stack the Deck by Laura Dennison to make this, and it is probably starting to become a favorite binding system of mine. I have another big project that's coming out I've been working on, so I originally used it in that, and then I said, oh, I'm going to use it in this one. Anyway, I do have a full tutorial following this video. I hope you check it out. If you like it, let me know. I have lots of old projects in there that I have not ever made tutorials for, so if you see something else you would like and I get some free time, I would be more than happy to go ahead and make tutorials on those as well. Alright, so go ahead and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Alright, so here is the cutting guide you're going to need for the following tutorial. So chipboard, these are your measurements, so go ahead and screenshot this or pause the video and write them down. So let me just go over them with you just in case. So for your chipboard cover pieces, you're going to need 2 at 4.5 by 3 3/4, and that would be your A piece. I think I referenced that in the video. The B piece, which is the spine, you're going to need 4.5 by 2, and you're going to need 1 of those. Tyvek, you're going to cut at 5 by 4.5. The binding for the cardstock, the binding is made out of cardstock, and I'm using this based on Laura Dennison's Stack the Deck. So you're going to need 1 piece at 4 1/4 by 1 3/4, scoring on the 4 1/4 at 0.75 and at 1. You're going to need 1 piece at 4 1/4 by 2 1/4, scoring on the 4 1/4 side at 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 5 1/2. And then you're going to need 1 piece at 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, scoring on the 4 1/4 side at scoring on the 4 1/4 side at 3/4, 1 inch, 1.75, or 1.75, 1 3/4, and 2 inches. Sorry, it's super late here. And then for your cardstock pages, let me just do it like this. You're going to have to cut 6 of them at 9 by 3 1/4, scoring on the 9 at 4 1/4 and at 5 1/2. You're going to need 4 pieces at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, scoring on the 4 3/4 at a 1/2 inch. You're going to need 3 of them at 4 1/4 by 3 1/2, scoring on the 3 1/2 inch side at a 1/2 inch. And you're going to need 6 of them at 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. So make sure you see that, 4 1/8. And you're going to score on the 5 3/4 side at 2 7/8. Alrighty, so go ahead and screenshot those or write them down. Okay, so let's get started making our little book. So you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard, and these are going to be under the measurements for our chipboard A piece, and you will need 2 of those. And then you will need 1 for piece B under chipboard. You also need a piece of Tyvek. And you're going to go ahead and apply score tape to your pieces like that. And I'm going to go ahead and attach to my Tyvek. So on my Tyvek, I went ahead and scored in 1.5 inches from each side to find a center spot to go ahead and attach my chipboard. And I'm going ahead, and this is just a 1/4 inch spacer from Colorways, and that one is actually not 1/4. This one's 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right there and attach my pieces. And I will leave you a link down below to the Colorways website if you are interested in getting that neat little tool. If you don't have this, you can either cut a piece of chipboard that's a 1/4 inch, you can use score tape that's a 1/4 inch, or you can just wing it and guess, or make a measurement and a line. Making sure I'm even, just like that. There we go. Little book. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply score tape to the whole back side. Okay, so I went ahead and applied score tape to the back side, and just let me zoom out. So I'm going to grab a 12-inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to draw some lines on it just for measurements. So I'm going to go over an inch, and I'm going to do an inch this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure we're good here. And then I'm going to, so I just made guidelines. Let me zoom out some more. So I just made guidelines on this, an inch at the bottom and an inch on the side. And then I just set it in place and then drew a line down. So that way it just makes it nice even. And go ahead and remove the score tape. And stick it right down there. And is that an inch? Just about. It's a little longer. That's okay. So now I'm going to just trim all this up. And it's nice that this is small enough so I don't even have to worry about seams or anything. And let's just make sure that, make it an even inch. So now I'm going to go ahead and add score tape around my perimeter. Let's get rid of some of this. Can I come down? Cool. Alright, and I'm adding score tape all the way around so I get a nice stick for my cover. So I'm just using the 5/8 inch. And now I'm going to go ahead and use 1/4 because I want to get it nice and tight up. So and I am expecting company, so we'll see how far I get before my grandkids show up for a visit. So now I'm just using another tool from Colorway Arts. And this is just a corner miter tool. If I was doing the bigger albums, I would be using the one from the other set that I have, but I can get away with this little one on the screen so you can see it. And all I did was I added a 6-inch ruler to the tool itself, just because I like to be able to go from one end to the other. Alrighty, you have that. So now I just want to go ahead and I like to use my desk and just lean up to get the first crease. And then I do it for the second side, and then I can just start folding this one down, and then flip it, and do it this way. So now I can go ahead and stick it down. Just like that. Look at the other side. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and burnish it down, make sure it's nice and stuck. So now for my sides here, what I like to do for the sides is go ahead and remove the tape. And then I take my bone folder and I just kind of push in to get the paper to fold into the chipboard. And then I take my bone folder and I go underneath and I just kind of get it like how I did the desk. I just do the same thing with the bone folder. And then once I get it done, I can press it down. And then where the cardstock overlaps, I just give that a press down as well, so you don't feel so much of it. And then the other side. Press that in, and that side. Sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. Guess I have to put some oil on it. Press that down. So then the same thing, I'm just going to kind of lift it up a little and crease in with the bone folder in the edges. And then the same thing with the spine, so I'm going closer to the spine this way. Like that. And I'm just trying to break the fibers down so then I can actually go ahead and crease it without cracking it. If anything should crack, I would just dab it with a little bit of art glitter glue, and that would just seal it in. So now I have it like this. So then I like to take and press the cardstock into the chipboard, and I just go up and down with it, getting a nice crease. And then I want to press the cardstock against the cover, so I just go ahead and push in. Same thing. It's just breaking the fibers so the book folds nice. And then there we go. Just kind of work it a little bit. There. Nice. We'll go ahead now and we'll work on the spine piece. We'll get that done. Okay, so we're going to get started and we're going to go ahead and do our binding. So before you do it, you need to prep some pieces. So your first piece you're going to need, so the height of our book or our pages are going to be 4 1/4. So you're going to need the height of that. So you're going to need 4 1/4 by 1 3/4, 4 1/4 by 2 1/4, and 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. Now you're going to need to add some score lines. So on the 1 3/4 width one, you're going to score at 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch. So basically you're making, as you can see, this little gusset here. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do that one. To the second piece, that's the 2 1/4 inch, you're going to score at, let's see if you can see them, 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2. Don't do any folding yet though. And then on your third piece, that's going to be 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, you're going to score at 3/4, 1 inch, 1 3/4, and 2 inches. All right, so let me zoom in. Oops. Let's see. All right, we're going to go here. So what you want to do is you need to go ahead and make some marks. So let me find my pencil. Here we go. So these are just guidelines, these marks here. So I'm going to go ahead in from the edge and I'm going to mark at a 1/2 inch. So a little tick mark there and one here. So I literally just a little tick mark because you need a 1/4 inch from your gusset lines. So I'm going to do it again on the other side. So I flipped it over. And then we're going to do it to all 3 pieces. So you're just going in a 1/2 inch. And then turn it around. And this is Laura Dennison's Stack the Deck. I think I'm doing it the way she does it. Some part of it, at least, doing the way she does it. I just kind of improvised to make it work for me. But I think this is how she does it. Alright. So we have those lines there on all those pieces. And if you want to, let's go ahead and add some score tape. So I am going to add my 3/8 score tape from end to end on all the outsides. I did this in another project and I kind of liked how it worked, so we shall see how many I do this way. So you're going to apply score tape to both sides along the cut edges. You're not going close enough to the line that you just drew, so you don't have to worry about it. You're not covering that over, so you can see, maybe not. My pencil line is right here, so I have about 1/8 of an inch that it's not covering it. So this, you'll see in a minute, this will make sense to you for the binding. I'm just trying to do it so it's a little easier. And seeing how this is such a small book, I figured I would try it this way. So let me quickly get these done. I could pause the video, but I kind of feel like you need to see all these steps to it, so. And we'll see how far I get before my company comes. Alright, so I had the score tape on all these pieces, so they're on both sides. So what I want to do now is where we made our 1/2 inch marks. So this is, my 1/2 inch line is right here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to angle it and just cut it up, just like that. So, because when I go ahead and put my page on this, my page is going to literally come right down to my marks, and then I'll have space for it to lay flat. So like I said, it'll make sense once I put this together. If you have a hard time cutting like this direction, you can always make the mark on the other side. Whatever way makes it easier for you to go ahead and cut. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and start attaching. So now on the smaller piece here, go ahead and this one you can fold on the score lines. And part of my company's here, so we'll hold that thought and we'll get back to it after. Okay, so only half my company is here, so I can keep going. So you want to go ahead and fold on the smaller piece against those score lines. Then on the second piece, you're only folding on the outside score lines, so you're going to leave the center ones. So as you can see, whoops, I'm only scoring on those. And then the same thing with the last piece, I'm only scoring, not folding, not scoring, folding on the outside score lines, because the other score lines are just going to be guides. Alright, so you can see that. So I fold it so you can see those lines, so there's a 1/4 inch space right there and there. So now what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and take the second piece. So we're going to start layering. So this is the smallest, this is the biggest, and this is the middle piece. So we're going to go ahead and add some score tape to it. And the 5/8 fits perfectly between the middle there. So now you're going to lay this piece here in between. So let's see if I can get my lines again. You can see it better this way. Let me fold it this way so you can see it. So basically this piece here that's folded now is going to set right in the middle of those score lines there. So this is essentially what we're doing. Okay, so the easiest way I'm going to do it is I'm going to fold down this piece here like this, and I'm going to line it up, making sure everything is lined up where it needs to be. So we're just going to give it a dry run. That's good. So go ahead and stick it down. Just like that. So now I have it like this, whoops, like this, and then you can see right now this is what we have. So now we're going to do the same thing with the smaller piece, and on this piece I need the 1/4 inch score tape. I'm going to put it right down the middle between those two lines. And again, I'm going to attach it right in the middle. And I got a little overhang, so I'm going to get rid of that. So again, lining it up. Right up against the score line there. Looks good that way. And so now if you fold them all, oops, so you have this. So that's your binding system. And then because we did the little prep work first with doing all the cuts, we should be good to go. And just make sure like what's left here, it looks nice and even. And to me, I think mine looks even. So now we're going to go ahead and add score tape to this whole piece in here. So these are folded up, and then all this is going to get score tape. So go ahead and apply that. And then is it wide enough? It'll overlap a little bit, that's okay. now we're just going to take our book. We're going to go ahead and stick it in. So this should be, let's see, how far am I coming in my size? I forgot what I did. So actually, let's try centering it and see what we have. 2 inches. So we're basically 3/4 of an inch. So just going to make marks. Oops, lost. Just as a guideline. You know what? I think actually I need to go ahead and cover this with cardstock first. This whole piece, because if you put this on like this, you've got your chipboard showing. And I want to make it nice and clean. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece. I'll show you, and we're going to cover that with cardstock first. Alright, so I cut a piece of cardstock that is going to fit right across my book, just like this. So, and I went ahead and applied score tape to the whole backing. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the score tape and attach it. And you want full tape coverage to make sure it stays down. And I'm just going to eyeball it for the center. And that looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and crease everything. So I got the center down good, but I'm going to go ahead and get this part done first. I'm going to crease in my gussets, and then I'll go ahead and stick the rest down. Like that. Oops! Startled, grandson's here. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so let's finish back up now where we left off earlier. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the binding system. And I'm just checking because the paper that we attached here was the exact same size as my binding system. So, and I think I got it pretty even by looking at it. So I just need to make a mark on this side. So I determined that it was 3/8. So now I can't quite see the black through my ruler, so what I'm doing is I'm using the grid lines on my desk. So I'm making it even across the bottom, and then where the spine pieces, I'm making it even up to those, just so I know I'm squared off. And then I can take my ruler, which I can see through, and I'm putting it on what I think to be the 3/8 mark. So I'm lining the 3/8 mark on the ruler here to the line. So hopefully, I'm just going to put a faint little line, and let's see if I put it there. Looks good to me. I'm going to go for it. Alright, so because these can flatten down, I'm going to go ahead and flatten them. And let's see. Make sure it's even there. It looks pretty even to me. So So I'm going to stick it down. And as you can see, all these binding pieces sit nice and flat. So if you have another binding method that you prefer to use, go ahead. I did accommodate a 1/4 inch because, see right here, I have a 1/4 inch flap, as you can see. So I just brought my book out a 1/4 inch. So if you wanted to say maybe make a 1/2 inch using that, using a different binding method, if you need to do it, just bring out these cover pieces another 1/4 inch, so then that way you'd be at a 1/2 inch if you had a binding system where you had a 1/2 inch here. Alright, so then I would just add another 1/4 inch to the book. Anyway, that is that all ready to go, and we'll work on some pages. Okay, so let's get started on our pages. So I did make 4 of them. So how you're going to make your pages is you're going to need 6 pieces at 9 by 3 1/4. You're going to score on the 9-inch side at 4 1/4 and 8 1/2, and then you're going to apply score tape to the 1/2 inch end, and go ahead and cut the corners off. So now what you want to do is you're going to fold it on the first score line. And when you do that, make sure that you are lining it up across the bottom and the top. That way you know you're going to be squared off. And then this piece here, just fold it over. So this is going to be your little flap to bind it, and then you're going to attach it. So take that off. There you go. And then this is your pocket. So I'll do one more with you. So again, snipping off the corners, like so. And then folding there. We're going to fold it this way. So when you fold it, as I just totally made it crooked, so lining it up across the bottom. There we go. Now it's a little more straight. And then go ahead and attach it down. So now, right now, you can go ahead and we're going to attach our little pages. So you're just going to have your open end right here. And we're just going to go ahead and attach it to our binding. So when you went ahead and remember when we did the 1/2 inch down and then made the cut marks, so our little pages are going to go right all the way to where we started our cut marks. Just making sure that you are squared off to the bottom so you're nice and even when you do that. I know you can't really see it very well, but they're just simple little pages. There's not any bulk to these, so these should go on nice and square. And if you have to, you can adjust them so they do. So that looks good like that. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that little interruption. My son just moved to Florida, so he's been calling and showing me what it looks like down there. So now we're going to go ahead and add our pages. So making sure we're lining up, and it looks like I'm not. Hey, I got it off. So try it again. If you get them on wrong too, if you have to, undo works great for that. So we'll keep going. Alright, let's get this one down. So I already had one son that lived in Florida, and he owns a couple restaurants down there. and he's, I guess, opening some more. So my younger son decided he was ready for a change and just decided to move down there Friday. So he's now in Florida with his brother. So it's kind of exciting. He loves it there though. So he went from Connecticut all the way down to Florida. And they're down in St. Petersburg. And it looks like I got that one on crooked. So let's show you the undo. I didn't quite get it down tight enough, so there's a gap at the top. And I'm actually almost out of that stuff. So, it dries somewhat quick, but I also like to put things back on before it's completely dry, because then it gives me a little wiggle room, which is kind of neat. Just like that. And I always give them all a little test run in between. There we go. And that one looks good. Alright, last page. And there we go. So now we have all of our little pages in our book, and some of them have separate little flips and flaps. Look at that, nice and flat. You can't even tell there's pages there. I'm really enjoying this binding system. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'll get you some measurements for the little extra pieces. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did with this book with the pages. So to start off with, you're going to need 4 pieces that are going to be 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and on the 4 3/4 side you are going to score at a 1/2 inch, apply tape, and then you're going to go ahead and miter the corners. Alright, so then on the first page we have, as you can see, it does not lay flat like this one. So the first page we have flaps. One comes up, one comes down, like that. So I'm going to open it up, and we're going to go ahead and attach those. Alright, so we're going to take our first page, and I'm just turning the book just because it's easier for me to work on. So I'm just going to turn it. So I'm going to line this up at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. So there's our first flap. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the next one down. And go ahead and give it a test run. Make sure the top flap will close nice. If not, just trim off a little smidgen, little hair off this flap, so then that way they'll still go down nice. So we have that. And let's see. So the next one, so that's that one. So this one is on the back side of the second page. Let's go ahead and do that. So go to page 2, we're on the back side. Making sure I lined up. Okay, there's that. And then let's see. So there's page 1, page 2, page 3 has nothing on it. And page 4, looks like we're on the back side again on 4. And if you need to add more, you can just make more of these and just add them. So let's see. 1, 2, 3 is nothing. Back of 4. Looks good. Lining it up. Okay, there's that. And then 5, there was nothing on either. And then 6 has a little accordion fold page. So let me get those measurements for you and we will attach those ones. Okay, so now we need to have 3 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. And on the 3 1/2 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and apply tape. And then you're going to go ahead and cut the corners on all of those. So you're going to miter them down. So these are going to go on the back of our page. So what I like to do is whatever one I'm going to stick down, I'm going to go ahead and fold that one first. Just that way I won't accidentally put it down when I don't need it there. So this is going to be the piece that's going to go on. So the tape is going to be facing this way. So then these ones here, I'm going to go ahead and attach, and I'm just going to, let's crease them first. So this is the piece I'm attaching, so I'm keeping it close to the book so that way I know what piece is going to go down. So this one here I folded under so you cannot see the score tape. So I'm going to hold this. I'm going to put this one on top and attach it underneath, making sure I'm squared off. Yep, looks good. So right now this is what I have. This is where I'm attaching. So now I can take my next piece. Again, I'm going to fold it so I can't see the tape. So out of the 3 pieces, 2 you're going to fold where you can't see the tape, 1 you'll fold where you can. So this is where we're at, and now I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to put this one inside it and then attach it. So sure I'm nice and square. Attach it down. So here we go, just like that. So then my back page, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach it on. So I'm just unfolding it just so I can make sure I'm squared up. And I'm going right to the edge. I know it's hard to see because it's all black paper, but I'm going to right to the edge of page 6. And then it folds up like that. And that is what I did on the original, and you can see nice and flat. So now, because the original I did do differently, so it's a nice thing that this was done in 2015, I think it was, because I can make improvements now. So I think originally when I did this one, I folded the paper in half and then just folded it over my hinge like this, so the paper was like this, and I just attached it to my hinge like that, so this side was sealed up. But the way we did it now, we have all these little pockets, so we can actually go ahead, right here, pocket, we can go ahead and add some little tags and stuff if we want to. So let's see, let me get some measurements for that. Okay, so now you're going to need 6 pieces, and these are going to be 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. Get that right measurement there. And then you're going to score on the 5 3/4 at 2 7/8. So you have your score line in the middle, and you're just going to go ahead and fold them over, making sure they're even. You're going to do that to all of them. That one I did. Let's do the rest. And these will also hold the Instax photos. They're the perfect size, so. And these are going to go into those little holes. So this is a nice little addition. So go ahead and put them in. And now you have some more room for photos. Oops. Those in. And if you wanted to too, so instead of enclosing it all the way in like that, you could take and just do half. So you could open it, just put 1/2 in, and then you could do it that way if you wanted to. I'm going to just, for now at least, depends on when I decorate what I do. And then the last page. Alright, like just like that. And still lots of room, and we still fold nice and flat. Isn't that awesome? Alrighty, so I think we'll get some pockets. We'll put some pockets on the covers. This one here didn't have any pockets, but I think we are going to add some pockets to it. And as you can see, this, I can't even fold these down flat because they literally are going to crack the pages if I do that. So, nice improvement. Okay, so I have my little pockets ready, and you're going to cut 2 pieces, 4 1/2 by 2 1/2, scoring on the 4 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. Rotate it and score at 1/2 inch on the 2 1/2 inch side. Apply your score tape, and we're going to go ahead and miter our corners so we can fold it, make a pocket. Okay. There we go. And do the same thing with the other one. And these are going to go right down here. So again, I'm just going to rotate it because it's easier for me to attach my pocket. And I'm not going quite all the way to the corner, to the bottom. I'm leaving a little space. Push that down. And then my sides. Like that. And then on the back page, same thing again. I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. There we go. And that is it. The only thing left now is to add the pattern paper to everything, and we are done. So if you wanted to do a ribbon closure like on this one here, if you want to do a ribbon closure, what you do is before you put your pattern paper on the front and on the back, go ahead and just put your ribbon across it, tape it down. Usually what I do is I find the middle, and then I will just add some tape to the center, and then I put my ribbon on it, and then I do the same thing to the back. And then that way you'll have it on your thing just to close. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and decorate this one, and I will show you when we're done. Alright, so that wraps up my tutorial on this cute little Instax mini album. And if you like what you see, I would love it if you would subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And again, if any of my other older projects that you see there that I created, you would like a tutorial for, just let me know. Alright, so until next time guys, happy crafting. Bye!